Oh, we have an episode title.
Ooh, what is it?
Oh, already? That's what I
Yes.
was just looking for. What is it?
Yes.
A
The
Time
Broken?
for Wolves?
Brand the
Come on.
Broken?
Give it to
Song
me.
of Ice and Fire.
It is called The Iron Throne.
Oh.
These idiots. All right, everybody. Welcome to Vassals of Kingsgrave for our final DragonCast ever. I don't know. Maybe we'll do this shit for the prequel or something. I don't know. Game of Thrones is over. We just watched it. Some shit went down. My name is Adam, also known as drownedsnow on the podcast of Ice and Fire forums. And I am joined by Matt.
Varley on the forums.
Bina.
Hey, it's Bina 007 here.
Michal.
Hi, inkasrain.
Paul.
Hey, this is Paul, Sir General on the forums.
Katie.
This is Katie, Lady Griffin on the forums.
Brett.
Oh, hi, White Raven.
All right. Good to have you. And Casey.
Hey, it's Casey, Blue-Eyed Queen.
So let's get the housekeeping out of the way. So I know that a lot of people that are, listening podcast on YouTube or whatever, only follow us for the show and don't really know what else we do. So here at Vessels of Kingsgrave, we have a reread going. It's a lot of fun and a whole lot of other Ice and Fire content, as well as non-Ice and Fire content, which you might be interested in after this.
Hopefully we're awesome. You should just listen to us.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, do that. It's awesome. Check out all of the feeds, and things like that. Okay, so let's get into this. Let's go with lemon cakes. Do we need them? How many melted Iron Thrones would you give this? I'm asking for a friend. I'm gonna go last. How about Matt?
So I'm giving this 5 out of 5 lemon cakes. This season was like the Carrie Strug of seasons. It tripped, it fell, and then all of a sudden at landing, it was amazing. To get into the episode, the beginning was a little stupid and slow, and then it just unraveled beautifully, and I couldn't be happier. It gave like the whole King Kong ending. It was the love that killed the savage beast. I love it. Except in this case, it was the Iron Throne that killed the savage beast, but we'll talk about it. I loved it, guys.
Oh, I thought you meant Daenerys was the savage beast.
The Iron Throne killed the savage beast. So, yeah.
All right, Casey, do you want to give us your lemon cakes?
I just finished. Jeez. I guess I want to give it like a 2 because my power went out and I wasn't able to enjoy it with everybody else. But that's a me problem. I think I'll give it like a 3.
Okay. What do you think, Katie?
I'll give it 2 big old middle fingers as they lower me into the ground. I was pretty distracted and disengaged for most of this. I guess I'll give 1 point for the shot of Drogon shaking off the ash, which was just super cool. And then I'll give another point for when Jon and Dany are making out, and I just thought, man, this is super romantic, even though I know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
Other than that, I thought the council, everything else is just profoundly stupid. Whatever, it's over. I love you guys, and I don't think I'm ever going to watch this show again. I think I hate it.
Katie, what are you going to talk to us about now if you're not going to be watching the show?
I guess I'll pretend to like Star Wars or something. I don't know.
Come on, the Potter rereads. That's where it's at.
Maybe a Witcher podcast?
It's on my old computer somewhere.
Yeah, we just had another episode of the linear reread that we do, shameless plug, that we recorded today, so that'll be out soon. I thought it was snowing. It was very white. I mean, ash can be white.
It had to be ash.
Nah, that was people.
It's like movie special effects, so it's probably the same shit they use to make movie snow that doesn't melt. So
probably.
How about you, Bina?
Yeah, I'm giving this basically 1.5. A half point for the score, which was superb. A half point for seeing my Queen Sansa at the end. A half point for nostalgia, but the rest is being docked for casual misogyny, sheer illogicality, and the endless fan service of still having Bron alive, and just general nonsense. I think I'm kind of where Katie is. I think I mentally checked out of the show a while ago. I came back in, and it's just silliness. So it's all good.
Yeah. What about you, Paul?
I don't know. I think it sounded a lot like. It sounded like just a lot of tripe. It sounded a lot like this.
You had that cute.
Yeah.
Wow,
I had that cute.
Oh my god, I'm dying.
Guys,
Why
look at
he's
the production
film and
quality here at the
communications
end.
major.
For all like the little things that I'm like, okay, that's fun, that's cool. The overall plot makes me just go, what the fuck, D&D? You can't think of a better ending. Oh, how about we throw a little democracy joke in there? Yeah, it's all real funny. Thanks a lot, guys. Fucking hell. 2 out of 5, because production needs their fair due.
Okay, I can maybe see that. What do you think, Brett?
I like the dragon. That's what I think.
Not even a lemon cake rating, just that.
I don't think it needs one. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I kind of agree. Michal?
Yeah, I'm not gonna rate this episode. I don't think
Copycat.
no. Go back to the old Dragon Cast. I mean, I guess if you were satisfied with the way things have been going so far, then you probably enjoyed the episode. But yes, Matt, you're the only one who liked it. But I like whatever. 5 stars. Sansa's alive. It's fine. Whatever. It doesn't matter that all of the dialogue takes place pretty much between men, and specifically Tyrion and Jon. It doesn't matter that Bran is king out of nowhere. I mean, I cannot imagine like a stronger power vacuum than like a guy who's literally checked out half the time, and Bronn is right there.
Yeah.
This will end really well, guys.
Ugh.
Long may he reign till Bronn stabs him in the back.
Which should be easy
Alright,
because he's in a chair and can't move.
Yeah. Okay. Did I skip anybody? Who else?
I think
Is
Paul
Greg?
wants to amend his rating.
It's Greg.
Yeah, change mine to 3 out of 5 for sexy Robin Aaron. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, what the fuck?
He was Joffreying over there, guys. He was just like, "What's up?"
The Neville Longbottom of the
Oh my god!
Damn right, he's the Neville Longbottom.
This
I'm gonna
is so
tweet
terrible. So oh man, I don't know. Like I said, I don't really think we need to rate it because this is like very much fan service here at the end. I'll give them like 1 because at least Sansa has a moment when like everyone else is like choosing not her, and she's like, fuck it, I'm on my own. Like I was like, okay, that's fine.
If you're saying you can't rate it because it's fan service, but we're fans, right? I mean, we have a
I felt
podcast and a
service.
YouTube channel on this, so if we're not served, that's
Right.
a very
Well,
important point.
Yeah, I don't think it's fan service for us necessarily, all of this. I think a lot of it is the casual watcher, like, you know, D&D. It's like the sort of fan service for
You
themselves.
mean the stupid people?
Well, I'm not saying...
Say it.
I'm not going to say
The
that.
stupid people.
I'm not going to say that, but there are certain people that, you know, that don't follow along, that can't keep track of whose name is who, that don't pay attention as much as we do, you know. They look up at their screen every 5 seconds and they're like, oh, that's awesome, and then look back down at their phone or something. That's what I would think. You know, and this is probably an awesome episode if you watched it like that. I don't know. Yeah, it was anticlimactic, which isn't great, but I do think that if this had aired last week with the previous episode, this might come out a little better. I don't know. I'll give it like a 2.5 because Ghost at the end, Sansa's queen, like that stuff I did like. It's hard not to like that.
Oh, we have an episode title.
Ooh, what is it?
Oh, already? That's what
Yes.
I'm just looking for. What is it?
Yes,
A
The
Time
Broken?
for Wolves?
Brand the
Come on.
Broken?
Give it to
Song
me.
of Ice and Fire.
it is called The Iron Throne.
Ugh,
These idiots.
I changed my lemon cake rating.
So one of the coolest shots of the entire episode is the throne melting, which we'll get to, but like they can fuck off.
Time for Wolves was right there.
It was a Time for Wolves, right? I mean, come on. Guys.
Yeah, you got a Stark on the throne and a Stark on the throne.
Yeah. Hi. And a Stark going off west and a Targ Stark going north. It's Time for Wolves everywhere.
A time for brawn.
Except for Nymeria.
Seems like what it was.
On the Bronn point, I don't actually. I mean, I hate it because I hate him, but I don't hate it insofar as I could see a point George wants to make with these books is that the carpetbaggers somehow survive and the innocent, normal small folk get killed. That feels like a suitably kind of Georgie kind of a point that he survives to the end. I mean, obviously better written, blah blah blah, but yeah.
Right. I mean, it was stupid in the previous episodes when he just suddenly showed up in Winterfell and was like, no, I'm a badass that kills people just like your ancestors, where it's like, well, that's a good point. But this whole premise that you're in that spot, in that scene at that time is fucking stupid.
So are we gonna get like another spin-off show of Arya's adventures, like in the New World or something like that?
No.
Because that's what it felt like.
I hope not.
None of this is going to be followed up on ever. Like
Cue the Star Trek theme.
They did not put any care into this.
Cue the oh fuck, what was that show? Never mind. It's not funny anymore.
I just want to see Sansa
Because
ruling the
enthusiasm.
North. That's all I want.
Yeah, we saw it for 15 seconds.
Katie, were you disappointed that when Brienne was writing in the White Book, she wasn't like, and father to son?
I was so scared
Yes. Same.
that was going to be the final line. I thought she could have been a little pettier, honestly. Like, he finger banged me real good, and then.
Katie.
That was the original title.
She like crosses out Kingslayer and like writes sister fucker.
Oh my god.
Can we take a moment just to acknowledge the crimes against calligraphy in that scene? You never heard of blotting
Oh
paper
my
woman?
gosh.
Slams
Oh,
the
boy.
book shut, smudges everywhere. My little English heart was crying at that.
She was
scene.
turning the pages pretty willy-nilly after she wrote on them.
I know. I think that's just heinous.
At least Tywin had the good grace to like sprinkle the sand on it and then blow it off.
Yeah, exactly. And also, why would you not take your armor off to write? She looked very uncomfortable.
She
I'm
never
just-
takes her armor
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that we got to see the White Book again. That was actually kind of cool. I'd forgotten about it.
How was it not
Yeah.
burned?
That's a good question.
So,
But then also,
I mean, like
Don't worry
it
about
kind
last
of-
week.
It's
kind of
magical.
shows you how disengaged I was with that scene, that I was thinking about calligraphy issues. I felt very distanced from this episode, like emotionally. I just wasn't
Yeah.
into it.
I thought she was Sansa's sworn shield. What happened there? She was just like, well, I guess I go
Yeah.
with Bran now? I don't...
And
She
it's
applied for a
Podrick Payne.
transfer.
Okay.
And is Podrick Payne like the best man at sex in the Six Kingdoms?
I was about to
now?
say,
Like,
why-
Kingsguard.
Why did they have the cunnilingus king of King's Landing join the Kingsguard? I don't know.
On behalf of the ladies of the
Podrick,
Six Kingdoms,
yeah.
I think that's a sad lookout.
Maybe
I
they
think his
changed
entry
that
in the
rule,
White
too.
Book will go to it'll go right next to Luckabor the Lusty.
Well, no, I mean, he saved Tyrion in the Battle of the Blackwater, and he fought at the Battle of the Dead, and he's done some shit. He's all right.
All right, so the episode opens immediately or shortly thereafter our previous episode, The Bells, but the skies are much darker, I guess, because of all the ash raining down, which really just looks like movie stone is confusing. But anyway, Tyrion is walking through the ash and sad about all the dead children and runs into Jon. Jon is sad as well, and wants to send someone to go with Tyrion because we kind of know where Tyrion's going. Tyrion somehow makes his way through all the destruction back down to the skull room and finds, oh, look, Jaime's hand is just right there. And there's Cersei, and it's sad. And everyone's sad. Yeah.
Hey,
and
Adam.
Then, what?
So you texted something about the show Battle of the Blackwater about the bells.
Oh,
Can you reiterate that just so everyone can realize how stupid the show is and not following their own canon?
So I watched the pilot today, and I rewatched through, like 4 or 5 episodes and just a few scenes here, just to kind of get me ready and hyped up, because made sense. I wish I hadn't done it, but I did rewatch Blackwater, and it gave me an appreciation for what the show did, especially in those early seasons. Great acting, great writing. Like the scene when Kat first comes across Rob, in the field, and then, has to wait for all the men to leave before she can embrace them, and they're both emotional. And I think that's just great. But in the Battle of the Blackwater, Davos is sailing into the bay, and he says that the bells start ringing, and I think it's his son or his squire, whoever is there in that scene, says something along the lines of, he says, oh, the bells are ringing, they're welcoming the new king. And Davos says, well, I've never known bells to mean surrender. Let them play music for us if they want. And so I was like, oh, maybe, Danny just talked to Davos about the bells. And he was like, no, fuck those bells. It doesn't mean shit.
And then they start their drum beat, right?
Right, and then they start their drum beat in time to, for the assault. So bells were in the show before, but kind of like fuck off. They don't really mean anything.
I get the feeling they probably haven't revisited their material in a long time.
They're like,
Yeah.
that was an episode that George wrote. We're not gonna.
Yeah, they don't have anyone fact checking themselves, obviously, at this point. So yeah, back to the scene at hand. What did we think of this first bit where Tyrion and Jon walking through the destruction with Davos?
Very pretty.
It looked great. It was very like shades of Hiroshima when that guy just walked down the street with pieces of his body missing. That was well done. Tyrion finding his dead siblings, I was actually pretty moved by that. This was probably one of the scenes that I liked best in the show, just because Tyrion, he always wanted to be part of his family. Like, he always felt outside of his siblings, not just because they were, having sex with each other, but outside of their dynamic, outside of their family, and to find them dead and realize that he's alone in the world. That got me. Lena Headey probably got a cold stone $1 million just for lying in rubble, which
As a
good
cold
for her.
stone.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah, get what you can while you can.
I very much got the sense that the last time they saw each other, Tyrion and Jaime both expected Tyrion to die much more imminently than they expected Jaime to die. So it felt kind of like a this is out of order, this is wrong reaction to me when Tyrion was there.
Hello.
Greg.
Katie.
And we're joined by the hashtag that is Greg. So welcome to the podcast, Greg. How did you feel about this episode? We're just discussing the first kind of few scenes here, so.
Well, I can't say for the whole thing, but I really didn't like the stuff. But the stuff I didn't like was what I expected to happen. I assumed Jon was going to kill Dany. It was going to kind of play out. I did not expect to really like the actual ending. I was like, how are they going to end it? It's going to suck, but I like that montage. It took me. It went from like a 1. It brought it back to like a 3 for me. The montage was great. Edmure was great. Pretty much everything else was bad. I like a couple of throwbacks, like the last couple scenes with like the new small council. I thought that was great. But like overall, like it was just hot garbage until like the last 10 minutes for me.
What about the dragon?
All right, hot take.
Well, yeah. Oh, it was so meaningful because he nudged her. Mwah. Sorry, too much for me.
That just made it look good.
Yeah. Oh, it did look good, and I did cry when I saw Ghost. I was like, he's got missing an ear, and then I stopped crying, but I cried for like 1 second. So that happened.
I don't think that's a cry.
I teared up. No, there was a tear down my cheek. That's a cry.
Well, fair.
Guys, can I read you the New York trending topics?
Sure.
Please do.
In order.
Do they have anything to do with Game of Thrones? Because it would be weird if they did.
Yeah.
There's some terrorist attack that happened that we're not aware about.
Well, okay, hang on. hashtag Game of Thrones, and then Bran, Drogon, Sansa, Tyrion, Jon Snow, Brienne, Ghost, Westeros, and the last one with 7,596 tweets is Christopher Columbus.
Why?
It's Arya's Christopher Columbus.
Is that what they're?
Oh, that's funny.
Is that?
Oh no.
Huh. Okay. I always liked DeSoto. I was more of a DeSoto guy.
Actually, yes,
Anyway.
it does seem to be that.
Christopher
It
Columbus
does seem
back.
to be that comparison that people are making. Somebody already pasted Maisie Williams' face onto the famous portrait of.
Oh, they're gonna bring
Unfortunately-
Grayscale over and kill
Yeah, I was
us.
about to say they have one guy with grayscale.
Well, thank
what's
goodness
west
we
of
got rid of the
Westeros?
conquering tyrant, right, guys?
Yeah.
Just in
The
time
map
for
only goes like 20
colonialism.
miles. Yeah. All right.
Well, that's fun.
So.
What's been the consensus so far? Just what am I walking into?
Not
I'm the
great.
only one who loved it.
You're the only one who loved it?
Matt, I can't believe you actually liked it.
Did you like all of it? Or
hated-
just
I hated the last two episodes so much, and I just feel like this was just so much more satisfying than anything else. Than
They couldn't let you down anymore, Matt.
yeah, I mean, there was nowhere to go but up.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. I can endorse that to some degree. So, Cersei and Jaime, we knew they were dead, but we see it. It's sad. And then we go back to Jon and Davos and people being executed in the streets. I get Grey Worm is like, he's gone full dark here. His ending is pretty fitting, I think. But then where is this stair that they're walking up? This like grand stair in King's Landing. It's so ruined I can't tell where the fuck they are. Where Dany gives her like Hitler Youth speech.
Oh, you mean the Tramp of the Will ripoff?
It's like
It also doesn't help that they've changed shooting King's Landing, so it's no longer shot in Dubrovnik.
Bina's
It's
here?
It's on a
What?
backlot.
So
Hi,
lots
Bina.
of it doesn't make sense. It's had 3 different locations over the show, so it's very hard to pin yourself to where it is, I find.
But it seemed like they were near the Red Keep, at least. I don't know. So what the hell? Like her Unsullied spawned a lot more of themselves.
Yeah,
there's
her army,
more
like,
Dothraki than I
regrowth.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah, I like how David or Dan said in that one post, like, well, this is the end of the Dothraki, and then there's more Dothraki than we've ever seen before.
It's ridiculous. Like I thought she had like 20 of them, maybe like at the end of that Winterfell, and yeah,
only
Once
half.
that charge back with Jorah, right? Where
the Unsullied, like 3 of them made it in the gates. I'm not kidding. It's hard to tell in that episode, but not like 1,000 or 5,000 or however many was there. I'm bad at counting armies.
Can
Maybe some were just-
take a moment? Sorry.
I was just saying it was going to be a stupid thing anyway. Go ahead.
No, I want to bring the mood down a moment by just saying a kind of semi-serious point, as the woman of color on this podcast, that I find it really distressing in the last episode and this episode that whenever we see the Dothraki, which isn't often, they're kind of hallooing through the streets with their swords in the air, and it feels like Randall Tarley, who is not the nice person on this show and was a bit bigoted, objected to Dany coming with her with the troops who were sort of these nasty, exotic, oriental, savage immigrants. And then whenever the show shows them, it just absolutely panders to that, right? I mean, they did come through the streets, raping and pillaging as they went, like uncivilized, brutish conquerors. And I find that really problematic. And what could I expect from the people who wanted to make a show called Confederate, I guess? But
Yeah, and they were
I
excited
think
about it.
Yeah, we do well at showing the misogyny in this show, but just a moment to shout out the inherent racism of that portrayal.
But didn't they?
But
do
what
that,
about
like,
the Unsullied?
Your only
Like-
man of color in this show who's left standing
Yeah.
is Grey Worm. And they did this amazing job of showing a nuanced idea of what romance and sexual involvement could be with a guy who'd been castrated. And then you take this, like I said, the only man of color left standing of any importance of any power in the show, and his girlfriend is killed, so you make him a savage, ruthless guy who slits people's throats even though they're kneeling. Again, hugely problematic.
Well,
I mean,
he was given
last
lands
episode-
and offered like to grow his own house off of, you know.
Well, that's all later. But I think the issue here is that the way they've done this is like the Unsullied are basically a hive mind. Like their personality is Grey Worm. And I understand, like, in the moment in the battle, him being like, no, I need some blood, and he goes for blood. Like, I felt that was genuine last week. I got that. But this week, they're all like, yeah, kill everyone. We're all down for that. I mean, I would have expected in the books, like, if there's some sort of victory state, the Unsullied would be like, well, hey, can we have a town over here and just settle down and not fight anymore? Like, they've been taught war, but I don't think they're necessarily brutal in that sense. Not like the Dothraki have been made out to be.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point of the books, is that they will be obedient to the point of, like, if she took King's Landing and told them to, you know, all stand on their own swords, they would. And, you know.
And he was
But
given
the
an
point
order.
about Grey
He
Worm
followed it.
specifically is that at this point he's not just following an order, although he says he is. He's doing what his queen wants. That Grey Worm, we have seen, has agency. He has will. He has emotions. And he is making a
These
choice.
are his choices.
He could easily turn around and say to Dany, like, John, okay, this is too much. We've gone too far. Okay, in the adrenaline of the moment of battle, I had the bloodlust too, but come on, guys, they're on their knees now. But he chooses to go ahead, and I think that's really, really awful writing.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me, this episode.
And Bina, we talked about it kind of about last episode of if there was a conversation, there was some conversation between Grey Worm and Daenerys that, like, obviously we didn't see. We saw Daenerys, like, handing her Missandei's collar, but, like, had she said to him, like, kill everyone who's supported Cersei, that would have been completely justified, and then, you know, it wouldn't be that issue as much of, you know.
And yet, you can arrest and yet you can arrest Tyrion and not immediately execute him, but just throw him in a prison conveniently for a month or so.
He's just a little fella.
Yeah, or Jon later. I mean, I don't know how Jon survives other than... Anyway, we're going to get there, but... Oh, yeah. So, I mean, Jon, we've talked about this for the last 2 seasons, but really the last few episodes, Jon is kind of the worst. Like, he just sort of sits by while Dany does all this and is like, she's the queen, it's fine. I mean, while Tyrion's being taken away, I think he clearly agrees with Tyrion, and he's still like, I don't know, whatever.
There's a really, just before we move on, there's a really great shot when Dany's going to stand at the top of the stairs and the dragon wings open behind her.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Like,
yeah, when she looks
that
like
was good.
Wings.
Yeah, that's like just pure fantasy goodness.
And I think they changed her costume.
Yeah.
It's all black now.
Yep.
I don't know when she had time to do that.
She joined the First Order after she got off Drogon.
Also, she's been flying around all day, and yet her hair and braids are on point. But okay.
Wardrobe was standing by for her to land.
But I think they also made her cape look more jagged and wing-like, which was interesting.
I mean, I think the one thing that we can all agree on is the production value of almost every season has been great, you know, besides maybe the first couple before Blackwater.
Yeah, the tourney at King's Landing wasn't awesome.
It was a little feebly attended, but, you know, they didn't have quite the budget.
But there were still a lot of things in those early seasons that were done well for the budget they had.
The costumes have always been gorgeous.
Yeah.
You know.
This is costume cast now. Okay. So Dany gives.
Talk about something good.
I'm just gonna get us through this, guys. I'm gonna get us through this. Dany takes Tyrion away because she somehow already knows that he freed Jaime and he's a traitor, but dude's dead. It's very confusing. It's just, you know, it's more to like build her up as like, hey, you just saw that she was evil, so we're just going to keep drawing that point home until the final blow here. So Jon has to visit Tyrion. But first he's like, what the fuck, Arya, you're here. And she's like, someone got to kill that queen. But I don't know. Is she offering in this scene? I was a little confused.
It was nice that she just like apparated next to him, so we get to see her being sneaky again. See, that's how she snuck up on the Night's King. She just appears.
She's just there.
Also, her very symbolic horse was clearly very important.
Yeah, right?
It's
Now it's gone.
completely disappeared.
I think John rode out on that horse at the end, right?
I don't know. They only have so many horses for production, so they're gonna have to. Yeah. Anyway, so this is just kind of a frustrating sequence here where John keeps saying like, "No, it's fine, it's fine." He visits Tyrion in prison. Tyrion's like, "You got to do something about this. You're the rightful king." Blah blah blah. It's fine. John's trying to get his courage up. Tyrion's telling him to grab his fucking balls, but John still doesn't want to do it. And then we get a really weird scene. John walking by snowy or ashy Drogon. I guess it's ash, but it was a beautiful shot. The
That's
Iron Throne is...
Adam.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, Drogon is the worst bouncer in the world.
But like, so here I'm seeing that Drogon is still very friendly with Jon, so I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, he's gonna go kill her and he's gonna be the dragon rider. I'm kind of surprised that didn't happen, but I guess credit to the show for not doing that, maybe? I don't know. So we walk up to the Iron Throne and we see Dany having her moment. She's finally there. She's gonna sit on the Iron Throne, which is somehow still there after that huge blast of fire it got last week. I thought the whole tower fell down, but I guess not. And Jon comes up alone, unchecked, no one around. That's how you know what's about to happen. And I don't know. She's less like murdery here and seems to kind of be like, "It's just me and you, Jon." I don't know if
She
that's
was a little
legit or
too
not.
happy.
Yeah.
If I was John, I would have come in like clapping, just like, yeah.
But yeah, Jon kills Dany. Drogon's sad. Drogon flies up, burns throne, flies away with Dany.
I feel like the show definitely tried. Like, it's a great scene between Jon and Tyrion where Tyrion is sort of laying out like why we're supposed to like reevaluate everything Dany has done in the past. It would have been great if they'd actually convinced us of in that moment of the heel face turn. It would have been actually more powerful and actually might have worked. Thematically, like, the groundwork is there, but as we discussed last week, the specifics are just muddled. But yeah, like, I actually really kind of dug this scene, maybe mostly for the acting, where it's like, oh god, like, Jon, it's maybe the only, like, for a few minutes, I was really, like, I just dug Jon because it's like if like, Kit Harington is trying, he's like, I don't want to do this, but I gotta do this, and I was like, okay, good, he's gonna do it, and then he's gonna get eaten by the dragon. Please God, let him be eaten by the dragon. Nope, I don't know why. Drogon hates chairs, but I guess it's okay with letting Jon live. It's important that Jon Snow walks away from this for some reason.
Drogon knows that Jon didn't kill Dany. The Iron Throne killed Dany, and her lust for power killed Dany.
You're fucking right. That's what that's supposed to mean. Is like, God damn it!
Yeah, it's supposed to be symbolic and stupid, but I do think that there's
for 6 hours.
He didn't see Jon kill Dany, and he's a Targaryen. So I mean, I thought it was just as likely that Jon was going to get on the fucking dragon and fly away, or because I'm like, he ain't coming down from that tower alive. I'm wrong.
There's a moment when Drogon bends his head, and I was like, he's gonna bow to the true king. That is just what's going to happen. And then it didn't happen, but.
Which would have made sense for the show. I mean, the way the show does it. But,
well, yes. I mean, it's such a
shocking surprise.
Drogon gives her the kiss of life. She comes back alive. Well, this is awkward. I didn't mean to do that.
I mean, in the books, as soon as the rider dies, then you can kind of bond with the dragon. But there's like a mourning period, I think, right?
I was kind of pissed that only like a foot around the Iron Throne was melted snow.
Sure.
Anyone else see that?
Yeah. I thought the Iron Throne melting was pretty baller. I mean, it looked great. So.
Oh yeah, that looked great.
They broke the wheel somehow.
I don't care what it was. He doesn't know what a throne is. He's a dragon.
He
But
just
he
saw
knew
something
what
he could
killed
melt.
Daenerys.
No, that's the worst.
And she never actually sat down in it, and it's so poetic, guys. Wow.
She touched it.
It
I
was.
thought she was gonna sit down and it was gonna
She
cut her or
touched the
something.
blood.
Who's gonna cut her? And oh,
I thought it was
I
gonna
did.
cut
I
her.
did write down. I mean, it took 35 minutes to finally get Jon and Dany talking to each other in this episode. I mean, I think I said last episode, like, how does he not just run straight up to her and kill her, which is almost what he does. But they threw like some shade at the Iron Throne here, where she said, "Oh, as a girl, I imagined it being this huge throne that was taller than a man," and like it's just so tiny. I'm like,
Like how
fuck
George
you.
pictured it.
Yeah, like how George depicted it. Yeah.
I feel like Emilia Clarke, her acting is improved. I don't think she sells dying very well. She just kind of,
Clearly, they didn't believe it. They're like, we gotta add some blood to her face for some reason.
yeah. Having seen a few additional interviews with her about this finale, maybe she was like not giving it her all.
Probably.
Yeah, and she posted something that was kind of sweet on Twitter or Instagram or something earlier.
When blood started coming out of her nose, did anyone else think like Arya somehow kissed Jon to kiss her, like, and transferred that poison that makes it?
No, I heard the knife.
Oh, I didn't hear the knife.
It was definitely a knife sound.
Yeah, I will say
And there
that
was one
this is the
embedded
most-
in her.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that.
This is the most chemistry that Jon and Dany have had since they met on the show. This scene, which says something.
We're breaking for lunch. We're breaking for lunch.
I do agree. Like I feel like this worked for me in the way that a lot of Jon and Dany scenes have just not worked. Where it's like when they're kissing, I'm like I said it earlier, I was like, oh, this is actually like really romantic and passionate, and the stakes actually feel like they're there, even though I hate what's about to happen. So yeah, it's if only Jon had been eaten alive, I would have been satisfied.
I'm not a proponent of Jon being eaten alive, just for the record. I think what happened was stupid, but
It was very distressing to me to see Dany like full evil, words coming out of her mouth making barely any sense. Like suddenly there's tyrants,
Also-
Winterfell and Dorne, and in the Summer Isles. And,
Guys,
Yeah.
she doesn't look tired anymore, and she just exerted herself a shit ton.
Well, Drogon did anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he was taking a nap under the snow or ash.
She's not like pounding on his head like Yoshi. She just like
I mean,
lets him
did
do
she-
his thing.
Did she like eat some food and like take a nap at some point? I don't know where the
she
time
changed
would
her
be.
dress, so I
Yeah.
think we can't underestimate how quickly Dany can get refreshed.
This is
Costume
my
change.
city massacre dress.
So, no Iron Throne, Drogon out. Is this how you guys thought this was gonna go?
Nope.
Are you shitting me?
Well, I mean,
Drogon
Jon-
being the proponent of democracy, like, authority should be given by the consent of the governed. Ah!
I just mean John having to kill Dany. I thought that was going to happen. I wasn't
Oh,
sure
Well, that, yeah.
how quickly this would happen. It was so slow in the episode, and then I'm like, okay, we got 45 minutes left. What are they going to do?
They did a lot with Arya last episode to have her do nothing this
Nothing.
episode.
Oh
Yeah.
God, that was a
So again, the choice to have her in King's Landing was just because they needed a point of view running through the streets, and they were like, Maisie Williams would be great at that.
I
Like
guess
they
so.
literally said that. So, it's kind of weird that in Winterfell she's like, family matters most. The Starks, and then a scene later she's like, I'm out of here forever.
Yeah, it doesn't
Right?
even. It's not like she's giving up fighting or violence or anything. It's like what is the point of her like going east or west or whatever? Like, did she ever have a longing to like see foreign places?
Well, I mean, like
think you said
Nymeria was one of her favorites as a kid, right? She names the direwolf Nymeria.
I think in a previous season, she tells someone like while she's over in Bravos, like, I think maybe the actress that gets killed. She says like, I don't want to join an actors troupe. I want to travel. Like, what's west of Westeros? Like, it's something that's already been brought up earlier in in one of the earlier seasons.
All right, if it's established, I'll
But that
take
was before she thought she could go home, which is the weird part.
Right. Like the fact that we didn't even see Nymeria like on that boat with her. Even though
Well, that's
that
not
boat
her.
had a boss prow.
That's not her. Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate. So, can we move on from Jon killing Dany? I mean, is there really much more to say here? Because we'll discuss it here in a bit.
I'm just sad.
Yeah. And then we kind of flash forward, and it would have been convenient to get like a 3 weeks later or whatever, but they do the passage of time through beards in the show. So we see Tyrion with a beard, and I'm like, that beard's looking pretty raggedy. And then we see, there's like a whole like war council down there, and I'm like, oh, okay, so Jon killed Dany, and now he's ruling, and everyone's come to like kneel. Nope. All of these randos are back. Edmure's back, and Grey Worm's like, I have Jon, and I'm going to kill him. I'm like, why didn't you just do that? Like,
there's no
weeks
snow,
ago.
and all the trees are green. So
yeah, winter's over.
Did Jon like tell them that he killed her? Because there's no evidence.
yeah,
There's a blood stain.
That's what I
Dude's
thought.
gone.
I'm pretty
like,
sure it's
he
his
could-
night. Well,
They flew away. The dragon flew
when,
away. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
yeah,
when
that's
Drogon
right.
flew
Oh my
away,
god, he must have told them.
I wrote down. John's just gonna tell him that Dany will be back in a minute. She went to the store to
Right.
get something.
She went to go get cigarettes.
yeah.
That's
The
right.
blood stain is like it could have come from anyone during the sack of King's Landing. Like when
I'm sure they rush up there and see the throne is burnt and be like, I don't know, man. You saw how crazy she was, bro.
He
she
could just
flew
been like,
away.
she said, "Fuck the throne" and flew away with Drogon. I don't even
Yeah.
know, like the whole like. It was so convenient that Drogon took him with her. Like, must be he thought he needed a snack wherever he was going. But it's just
Oh
it's
my
weird
God.
that they even had him fly away with her, and then Jon was just like, "Yeah, I did it. My honor demands I have to say this."
Maybe,
Yeah, he probably
maybe,
would.
And how does Grey Worm not kill him right away?
maybe they
I
didn't
remember
know,
this.
but then like a week later, they got this massive letter on like a 10-foot piece of paper written by a dragon that just says, "Oh, by the way, Jon did it."
the dragon wrote the letter.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they still all refer to him as Jon Snow, like even though everyone knows who he is. They have this council where Tyrion is brought, I guess, because they've been in a stalemate, arguing with the people occupying King's Landing. And Tyrion's
So does that
idea is
mean
like,
that
just choose a
Varys'
king.
letters- Sorry to interrupt. Does that mean that Varys' letters didn't mean anything or go anywhere, and all these lords? Yeah, but so no one else knows he's a Targ, right? So Tyrion, no one's told them, basically.
Well, except Sansa.
I don't know though.
But like the Edmure Tullys of this world and the
Well,
lords of
he
the
got
Ivory.
shot down.
Yeah.
Right, but wouldn't that be, especially from Sansa's point of view, wanting Jon free? Wouldn't that be her things like, hey, look, he's the rightful Targaryen? That's what she would tell all the other lords, and they don't seem to know that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
It just felt that this news went nowhere. Although I did
Yeah.
like the idea that at the wall at the end you have this sort of Targaryen who's now going to be an anonymous watcher of the wall like Maester Aemon. But yeah, it
I don't
just
know if
felt
he's
like a
staying
bit
at the
of,
wall.
So Varys wrote letters and just no, okay, never mind. We'll move on.
No,
Yeah,
I agree, Bina.
it's
I think
weird.
it did like they just dropped that. They dropped the most important plot line.
Yeah, so
Maybe
it's weird.
Edmure would have said something about the letters that Varys wrote, but he was cut off by Sansa. So
Because
Yeah,
at the end of the day, what does Jon's parentage do? I mean, I guess he brought everyone together to fight the Night King, but the only thing that his heritage did was piss Dany off and like bring conflict to them. Like there's absolutely no use to him being a Targaryen in any way.
Yeah, it drove the
He
plot
doesn't
the whole
forge a
season.
sword. He
If
doesn't do
he
anything.
had been the guy who'd killed the Night King and the whole Azor Ahai thing still mattered, then that might have had significance going
Right.
forward. But given that he did nothing, and that's why I never thought it was Arya who had killed Dany, because at some point Jon has to do something. Can't always be Deus Ex Machina with Arya. So yeah, this is one of the most deeply unsatisfying things I think for book readers is Azor Ahai, him being a secret Targ kind of just means nothing now.
Well, I think he will be the one to kill the Night King if there's a Night King. I think he will be the focus of that. On the show, they made it clear that like when they sat down with George, they were like, yeah, we picked Arya to do this because we thought it'd be cool. Like, so I don't think Arya's the one that does it in the books. Maybe they don't even know who does it in the books. I don't know. But I still think it would be Jon. And it would make sense. At least like, okay, mission accomplished. He can die or whatever. But this feels
Do you
like
think George
a
is sitting
waste.
down writing now like Brienne in the White Book, where she's like, well, you will think you have your narrative, but let me now with heavy heart sighing and breathing heavily write the real truth.
He's Mushroom.
It feels like they waved R plus L equals J, like that whole thing away by Bran telling Jon, you were where you needed to be.
Right.
Like, your parentage and your legacy and everything drove you to shanking Dany, and that was all that was needed.
Right.
For me to become king.
But Bran the king is whipping everyone along, like being like, should you reveal who you are? It's up to you. Like, he's pulling these fucking strings. I said it before, this is the dark ending. Like, Bran positioned himself to be the king.
Right.
And he had a shit-eating grin on his face when he's like, will you accept it? And he's like, why do you think I'm here, bro? I was like, oh.
He's better than Varys or Littlefinger. Like, he's been
He has
playing
no
a long
emotion.
game.
What
was Bran doing in that moment with Tyrion that cut away in episode 2 or 3 or whatever it was? Was he just
he was telling
giving
him
his CV and doing a job
Yeah.
interview?
Basically,
Maybe he was getting an oral interview from
He was
Tyrion.
planting the seeds to be king.
Yeah, just like
Oh my
power
God.
networking, like you do at a financial services conference. Like, just, in case you're ever looking to fill a position that's not yet open, you might want to just consider these attributes that I have that are pretty awesome.
Yeah, I can't be a knight, but I'd probably be a pretty cool king, just saying.
Yeah.
Why does he need a master of whispers?
He doesn't.
Because there's always been,
Because-
and they've broken the wheel, so they need to have the same
Oh,
stuff they've always had.
He does because he never intends to take any role in the running of the realm, probably.
They've got
Oh no,
five
he's gonna be off high in the clouds, looking for Drogon, looking in the past. He's no.
He's like
gonna be
warning
a
the
bad
cats
king,
of
guys.
King's Landing. Like, this,
Well-
like, what is? Ugh.
Braun is running the economy?
What happened to the opposition party? Got ate by a bear with
Okay.
these weird white eyes. Oh, that's weird.
All right, so we're gonna get into
It
the.
actually makes sense that Bronn runs the economy because at some point the Iron Bank is going to come back for its money, and wouldn't you want a ruthless fucking killer to be the one up?
And in the
against them?
reread chapters, Cersei says like all the brothels bring in taxes that fund like ships and protection.
Exactly.
So Bronn's gonna be great.
Bronn is the man for the job.
Yeah, and he was all about gold. Everything was about coin to him, right? So he makes sense to be the master of coin.
Except I think he's gonna steal more than Littlefinger.
Yeah, I don't know. So what was the seat they gave him? I missed that. Was it Highgarden?
Highgarden.
They were saying he was like master of the Reach.
Yeah, Lord
Yeah.
Paramount of the Reach. Not only did they give him Highgarden, but they made him the Lord Paramount.
So when I see Sam here at this council, I'm counting. There's a guy that I'm trying to figure out who everyone is because we see the Aarons, obviously Lannisters, Starks.
We
I
know
thought
who the
there was-
Dorne guy is.
Yeah, Prince of Dorne. I'm pretty
Bob
obvious.
Martell.
Sam, I'm like, oh, he must be representing the Reach because Tarly. But then he just pieces out on that as well. And where's Gilly? And
Braun wasn't even there.
Braun wasn't even there yet. They hadn't done any.
But now
of
he's
shit
Lord
yet.
Paramount of the Reach.
There is a line, and I forget who says it. I think it's Davos who's trying to tell Grey Worm, there's no one left in the Reach. You can just settle there. No people left in the
Just
Reach.
take it.
Also,
take it.
Davos is like, I don't know why I have a say, but
Who's that other guy that looked like a Stark or looked like a Northerner?
There were several guys who looked like
Sure.
Northerners.
I wasn't sure who everyone was. All right.
I just looked at like a screenshot of Robin Aaron though because I wanted to fully appreciate what was on the look. But-
or no.
But his cape, like he has wings. His doublet or whatever basically has wings. I think Michelle Clapton was just like, fuck it, I'm going literal here. Like everybody is dressing exactly like their houses are going to say that they are. And I'm talking about costumes again.
Anyway, the Dragon Pit Council, which doesn't seem to have any security to protect them against the Unsullied, just murdering them all, Sam decides, hey, everyone should have a vote, which is like a terrible idea, and they don't really understand how that would even work, obviously. Then they decide Bran will be king, except Sansa's like, love you, but North on its own. So, yay for Sansa. From there, she's the queen in the North. They talk about the fucking Night's Watch. They're going to send Jon to the Night's Watch. I don't know how there are still a need for a Night's Watch at all, because their point was to protect against the others, which they had forgotten, and the wildlings, which are now totally chill with everybody. So, you know, the wall's not... There's a huge hole in it. What's the point of the fucking Night's Watch? I don't know.
For now.
The
Unsullied...
Wildlings
are chill for now.
Yeah. The Unsullied stay long enough to make sure that Jon goes to his punishment at the Night's Watch, which he seems kind of cool with. And then they all set sail to die in Narth. Which has the butterflies that will kill them all, but you know, it's fine. It's it's a fitting in for Grey Worm and his character, because what the hell, you know, he's just going to commit suicide.
Well, no, he promised Missandei that he would protect her and her people.
Right, but we know that if you stay on the island for more than a little while, and that's established in the show.
But at the same time,
in the show,
Missandei
where
was taken by a slave.
It was seasons ago.
I'm sure the
I don't think
Nazi
it
know
was.
how to inoculate people
Yeah.
that they actually want on their
Inoculate?
island.
Inoculate.
Yes.
Anyway, so Brienne is Lord Commander. She finishes Jaime's entry and doesn't put the snark in there that we would like about, you know, him being kind of an idiot. At the end, we get the small council, which is Davos, Sam, Bronn is the master of coin, Sir Podrick is like the wheelchair guy for Bran, member of the Kingsguard, which is, you know, I mean, honestly, Podrick and Brienne of the Kingsguard is great. There's that scene ends with the jackass and honeycomb and a brothel joke that we never get. Then we're back to Castle Black, and then all the montages going out where Jon finds ghosts, goes out on a ranging with all the wildlings, or is he just being like, fuck the wall, I'm out of here, and he's just going to live north of the wall free?
Arya wanted to know what was west of west. He wants to know what's north of north.
Yeah. Just start building some cities up there, you know? Like, there's nothing to be afraid of anymore.
I will be the new Night King.
Yeah, create your own kingdom, Jon.
Well,
cool.
I mean, he could start like building burgs or something like that, so there's like walled cities beyond the wall that could help out with.
My question is, how plausible is it that you stay with 6 kingdoms? You know, Sansa gives her boss move, which is too many of my men have died. We're not going to go back into the 7 kingdoms. Cool. Why would, you know, Arsha, Yara, Greyjoy say, well, you know, I was liberated by Dany. I don't necessarily like this decision. Iron Islands, we're just going to peace out and do our thing. And why wouldn't the Prince of Dawn say, you know, we've been independent for hundreds of years too. We have our own royalty. I'm going to peace out too.
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't it just end up like the 3 or 4 kingdoms, like the rump, so to say, England?
Because it's too complicated, apparently.
But that makes no sense.
And also, the Prince of Dorne is the Prince of Dorne that has no name. And
is that Quentin is alive? Hashtag. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. To finish off your question, Bina, I think that part of the problem, like for the Greyjoys, is economy and all that. Like they have a relationship with Westeros that, especially if you don't want to reeve, that they actually need to be part of the kingdom. The North doesn't.
What you mean that they're the Scotland of the United Kingdom? They need to be subsidized. Please cut that out.
It's just that Sansa went last, and everybody's like, "Oh shit! I wish I'd thought of that."
That's right. We already committed to Bran. Fuck. She's like, I'll go last. I'm just gonna wait and see what everyone else says.
Bran would be like, "No take backsies."
Yeah, Dorne could probably survive, you know, well on its own. They sort of operate mostly on their own, but I think they wanted to have Bran as the king, and the new fans wanted Sansa as the king. I don't know if this is a George type of ending or not. I don't feel like it is.
I feel the 4 Kingdoms type of ending is a George ending.
Yeah.
And it economically makes sense. You repudiate the Iron Throne's debt. I mean, like, the Iron Bank can come a knocking, but Sansa isn't answering.
Just abandon King's Landing. But yeah, I think that's
might as well. They burn the shit to the ground.
Sansa
all the people are dead.
Like, I don't want to be connected to this kingdom. The North needs to like have its own shit, because the Iron Bank will come eventually.
Also, I'm just so amused that they're still operating out of King's Landing, even though like the Red Keep was like annihilated. I'm just like, why don't you just move it to Harrenhal and just make it official?
Well, Harrenhal's always been run down. I guess it's better to rebuild King's Landing.
Maybe they gave Braun Harrenhal too.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's not long for this world then.
Oh, I really hope they gave Braun Harrenhal.
Yeah. So who has Casterly Rock? I mean, so Tyrion talks about breaking the wheel, but it's like breaking the wheel by having a king we choose instead of heirs. But when Bran dies, I mean, it could just be civil war all over again. They haven't really changed the system for the common folk hardly at all.
Having no system of succession is not better than having a whatever.
Right. It's relying on. It's saying these major lords have to all be agreeable to come together and decide, and that is like a recipe for infighting. And okay, the king's old and he's about to die, and you get people on your side, and someone else gets people on their side, and then you have a civil war.
You mean when
really
Queen
good
Sansa
parallel,
invades the South and takes over?
Well, she won't need to, right? Because isn't this... If you take the idea that George was inspired by British history, like, Bran to me is the Queen Elizabeth I. He has no children. We know he'll have no children. And then basically we called in a king from the north, from Scotland. So Sansa has a son with someone, and that son will then reunify the Seven Kingdoms by being king of both. James I and VI of Scotland.
But I mean, but then it just goes back to the old system.
It is stupid.
Yeah, there's no breaking of the wheel. It was a stupid idea to begin with.
How are they not unified already? They're both Starks. I get it. I get she wants to be separate, but what's the point?
Stark Kingdom A and Stark Kingdom B.
It's annoying to me that obviously Dany's version of creating a new world and whatever, and because I know what's right and other people don't get to decide or whatever is not good. I'm not arguing for that. But like, it's frustrating that Tyrion is the one who gets to be the visionary when, like, after everything, like, he's the one who gets to be like,
after they made him the author of all bad ideas for 3 years.
Yes, and this shall be the way that it is run, and it shall be just and good, And
it's everything out of his mouth is a bad idea.
I actually thought for a second, I thought Grey Worm was going to cut his tongue out. And I was like, that would have been really gutsy.
Yeah, and Bran being like the biggest idiot and like, I need you to be my hand, Lord Tyrion.
Maybe when he took him to the side, they talked about this, and he's like, look, I'll spare your life later on. Just offer me to be king.
I need you to sort of betray Dany, but not at the right moment. And then this is going to work out. I'm going to be king. You're going to be the hand. It'll be great. Like, this all was plotted behind the scenes. When Bran was at the Battle of Winterfell, and he's like, I need to go somewhere real quick. He was setting this up somehow. I don't know how. He clearly wasn't helping with the battle against the Night King. So he was doing something to set this up.
I guess it's so.
Yeah.
Can I say it?
What,
now our watch has ended.
Yes. Why did Sansa have to ask Jon forgiveness? Why didn't Jon have to ask Sansa forgiveness?
Because the show was written by two doofuses.
I really thought.
Ask her forgiveness for what?
I'm such a naive, sweet summer child that when Sansa told Edmure to sit the fuck down, I thought she was going to give the speech Tyrion gave and propose some kind of triarchy or republic of, Roman type situation, but no.
Yeah, she should have done that, but then she couldn't at the end be like, cool, you guys pick someone. Great, I'm out. I think that's the only reason why she couldn't do it.
This is a very dude episode, and I think that's
it's bro fists all over the place.
Yeah, and it's like as soon as Dany's the bad guy, it's like the narrative requires that she become like distant so that we don't like really know what's going on in her head. So it just becomes about Tyrion's perspective, Jon's perspective, and then we get one scene with Dany before she's shanked, and then like one scene kind of with Sansa, and then one scene kind of with Arya, but they're both talking to Jon, and like it's about Jon having to go away. Like it's about a lot of dudes. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
also like
chill out about it, Katie. We'll be like fine and all.
So I think what's one of the things that's frustrating to me is that it's not that women can't have moments on the show. It's just that if there's ever like a choice, like a turn signal, and a man can get a moment or a woman can get a moment, it's always the man.
Sansa's queen. She took it for herself. That was
I
something.
know. And
Yeah.
how much of that's
And
see,
Arya's like captain
I'm not
of the
saying
boat.
that's not. I feel like you could probably ask for a little more. That's
right. That's
fair.
what I'm saying.
That's
like
fair.
it's not that Sansa doesn't have her moment, like she
Sansa's
does, but
queen,
it's not.
and she is now allowing the other kingdom to police her northern border because that makes sense.
Is she?
I'm
Well,
not
the
sure that
wall.
counts
The
as a
wall is
border
the
anymore.
wall.
Oh, the wall.
The Night's Watch is Fantasy Australia now. That's just where you send all the criminals.
Yeah. So back to the
But
whole
it
thing.
was,
Like,
no,
why
it
does
was
the
funny
Night's
when
Watch
Tyrion said that,
exist?
though. 'Cause, right, it was like, oh, they'll always need somewhere for broken men. It's like just sitting at a wall, like
There are plenty of
doing
places
nothing.
to send them to. You could rehabilitate them. You could send them to public works projects like
There's always a
rebuilding
place
King's
for
Landing.
broken men. Yeah, prison.
Like the wall for life because you stole a potato. Like, no, just have him help to rebuild the Red Keep for 6 months, and then that's probably fair. I don't know.
And then kill them to hide its secrets.
Oh, is Bran like? What the hell is Bran doing as king? Because
I'm binging the Targaryen kings right now.
at the end of that small council meeting where they all give up and give him the speech, and they're like, "We'll get better at it" or whatever, and he just seems to be like, "Peace out, I got shit to do." Like he did not deal with any matters of state really, and
But
He just wanted to.
Robert-
He just wanted to see
that's
the
true.
dragon and go watch his journey or whatever.
well, yeah.
Bran,
If
do
he
you think
can-
he just goes back and watches edited highlights of his life? Fun moments with Hodor.
remember that moment where I was climbing?
It's him with all his friends running around with just like, I will be there for you. And it's just a montage.
You guys remember
Given
when?
that Bran has a habit of walking into whoever's pushing his wheelchair, and he's upgraded from Hodor to Pod, he's now
Oh,
going to be able
no.
to walk
Oh, no.
into some pretty
Oh,
fucking
no.
good sex, isn't he?
Well, I don't know. Hodor had
You were better before.
You'll never walk again, Bran, but you'll do some weird things in a brothel.
Yeah.
God.
Oh, I don't know. I'm satisfied with Sansa. Jon almost. I don't know.
Well, no,
It seems
Hodor's
that
sacrifice
either
seems-
Grey Worm should have killed him or they should have made him king. I feel like those were kind of the only two options that made sense. So
So this leads to my final question before I need to go bathe and go to work is, what do you think of this finale, this resolution was told to them by George and is what George will give us, and what do you think is their fanfic? So, for instance, I thought that Jon could kill Dany, but is that it? And Sansa maybe could be on the throne in the north, but do you believe that Jon will end up on the wall? Do you believe all the other stuff that happens?
I'm just thinking, just
Ugh.
vaguely, Dany is the cause of like King's Landing getting destroyed. I don't think she's going to do it intentionally. I think it's just going to be the wildfire buildup that just catches and like blows up when she tries to like just take out parts of the wall or something like that. I don't think any of the rest is going to happen.
no, I think the kingdoms maybe do split, or at least that's his intention at the moment. I don't think Jon ends up at the wall. I think he either dies or ends up as the king or reluctant king. I think he's at the wall in the show because it's visual storytelling, and a lot of shows do this, right? Lost did this. It's like so deep that they end the final
they
scene
begin.
on the same as look. The wall, he's going through it, and the door closes behind him, just like our very first scene, like in Lost. Hey, look, the very first scene, we're seeing this guy's fucking eye again. Look how deep it is. No, that's cinematography. That's like, that's not a deep message. Like, he was at the wall for like 10 seconds, didn't do anything. He was there just to ride out. So I don't think he's back at the wall.
Did anyone think that the last scene would like everyone would be slaughtered by the others somehow, like just like the first scene of the entire show?
Oh yeah,
You felt like resurgence of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
others?
It
And
would be
like,
funny.
everyone was like, everything's gonna be fine. We found a new king. We figured it all out. Like, and then they ride off into the forest, and they just get slaughtered.
And it's the Queen Other that actually runs everything.
Yeah.
It would be great if, like, just a herd of ice spiders came out of the forest. Like, oh yeah, there's still animals out here.
No, but they showed it's all regrowing. Somebody steps on grass.
Yeah.
Life finds a way.
Okay.
Climate change.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like a George ending.
See, it
Most
was
of
about climate change. It's a good thing.
No.
It was all Burning King's Landing did was had the temperature higher.
All it takes is one young girl to defeat climate change. That's the story. We just got to find the right moment to stab climate change in the heart.
God.
Did you all see the forums, on the nitpick thread? We've got the review thread in the nitpick thread. And Adam's posted, what are your nitpicks? And Murph has just put, it was bad.
It was bad, yeah, I saw
As
that.
a nitpick.
I've said it for years that Jon killing Dany is maybe the worst thing that could happen in the books for me, just because I think Jon is the most mediocre character in the series. I mean, like, I don't mind Dany, like I said, I don't mind her being a dark messiah. I don't mind her like fulfilling, like, just failing completely in her arc. That's fine. I need Jon to like fucking stay away, because like.
Yeah, I feel like they failed on making Jon useful. If George is going to do that, I don't know. I'm not as big of a Jon hater as you guys. Like, I mean, I think he was really useful in the early seasons. But if he had somehow like killed Dany because like I need to forge Lightbringer and like I'm in love with Dany, so he like killed her to forge a sword to defeat the Night King, I would hate that. This feels like they made it so that there was no other choice but to kill her. Someone had to. And he was just like, I'll stop being useless for a second. But it's kind of stupid, the turn she takes. I mean, she literally, before Winterfell, she's still very pragmatic. She's even very charismatic afterwards, giving Storm's End to Gendry, who we don't see at this council. So I don't know if that's stuck actually. But then she just makes this complete heel turn of like, all right,
Gendry was at the council.
He was.
Gendry?
Yeah. I think he was
there.
I think he eyed up.
No, he was definitely there. He was sitting next to Brienne, I think.
Okay.
And with Sir Davos.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
But
Lights.
Well, I wanted to imagine him like crying with a carton of ice cream over Arya breaking up with him.
When
He'll do fine.
When Arya said like she wasn't coming back to Winterfell, I was like, oh no, she's gonna marry Gendry. Oh no, and then she said the other thing, and I was like, oh.
So in the After the Con of Thrones group, which is like majority show watchers and like maybe people that have read the book casually, like a lot of the threads on there I look at and I'm just like, no. But one of them before the episode was like, guys, do you think with Arya's turn last week she's going to change her mind and run back to Gendry? And it was like 20 comments of like, yeah, that's what I'm really hoping. And I was like, sure, because what happened last week didn't make any sense either. So I guess she'll change her mind about life and want to be a lady in a castle too. Like, why not?
Why do people want that?
Because Gendry's hot. I don't know.
I mean, I'm a Gendry Arya shipper myself, but not in that sense.
To go back to what you were saying, Adam, it's just that light switch madness is not compelling as a motivation, and like I don't give a shit that Targaryen madness is established in the show. It's just
right.
If like it's a light switch that you can flip on and off, and I guess okay, she's crazy now. Like that's not compelling. And then also flipping it on the audience, like, well, you should have known all along that Dany was. This was what was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, fuck you. The show is not. Yeah, the show is not good enough to like to claim that.
I think what they needed was about 2 more episodes for this season, and it still would have felt rushed. But you could have had something where they're laying siege or something, and there's a major lord that says, "Well, no, I'm still going to support Cersei for whatever reason," and she goes and burns them out, and maybe it seems sort of justified, like some sort of escalation of like, "Oh crap, she just did that," but like, well, that's extreme, but they were resisting us. and then it just escalates to this. We didn't get that.
And also just having your main woman character whining about how nobody loves her. It's like, come on, do something better.
Yara still liked her, and I will say,
she still was by her.
Watching some of the early scenes, I watched the pilot, and then I sped through and watched select scenes, and then a couple of the episodes, and watching the way that Emilia Clarke plays the hope and the development where she's not becoming a little girl anymore, she's becoming a wise woman, and she's saving these people, and you can see that she as an actress is pouring into this character that Dany is wanting to be a savior for these people, etc. And she was not told to be hey, you gotta go crazy later, set it up. So it's kind of heartbreaking.
I think when she acted the part in this, when she was explaining whatever, which didn't really ring true, but she acted well enough that I thought her character believed it, I guess.
Yeah.
But I didn't believe it.
Yeah, I'm glad that she did. I felt in that moment it would have been very easy for her to be very, what she did in the previous episode, which is very glassy-eyed, very almost bug-eyed as she's talking to Tyrion in the war room. But here it seemed like she was more collected, she had her convictions in a row. It's just that what was coming out of her mouth was really horrifying. She sold it better here, where it was okay, this feels more like an understandable madness, whereas before it felt more like a caricature of madness.
Right, she was smiling and
it
seemed excited about it. She actually thought it was a good thing because she knew what good things were. Apparently, I don't know.
We're gonna bring justice to the entire world with my one dragon. What? It felt like this was something that, if they'd shown us some flashbacks, was she secretly talking with the Unsullied and the Dothraki, and be okay, guys, I'm gonna pretend to be cool, but really we're gonna fuck everyone up.
Maybe if Dany had killed a child before or something, just it's such a leap to go from
She chained her own dragons because they might have killed a child.
And yes, it's horrifying for anybody.
That just means she's a bad mother.
God. It's horrifying for anyone to take life and death into their own hands, but also in this kind of show, it's just a bizarre leap from she killed slavers to she killed babies. I guess. Sure.
Yeah, you guys should have seen Bran was going to be king all along. It was set up for seasons.
God.
Oh, guys! Someone on Twitter just said, doesn't the three-eyed raven live for 1,000 years? So does succession planning not matter now?
Does he have to be connected to a weirwood though?
I think he's only a little over 100.
I was thinking that when they're making Bran king, I'm immortal god king, three-eyed raven. When Bran starts to die, he just finds another green seer and passes it on to them, and they become the next king.
Yeah.
Or queen.
Yeah, I mean, I do see this as they say, we won't have any mad sons. You've seen how terrible it is that the son is the king, and it's a good point that nepotism not always great. But it's not like Bran isn't going to see the end coming or whatever and find someone to groom as a successor that will be the obvious next choice, which is not a lot different than training your son. But your son could be crazy, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that person would have a lot of love and
pick someone
compassion.
Crazy. That will never happen.
It'll just be Dune.
Because Bran can see all.
So Emilia Clarke said an interesting thing in an EW thing where she read the script and she called her mother and she was like, I read the script and I don't want to tell you what happens, but can you just talk me off this ledge because it's really messed up? And then I asked my mom and brother really weird questions. They were like, why are you asking us this for? What are you asking us this for? What do you mean? Do I think Daenerys is a good person? Yeah. Why are you asking us that question? Why do you care what people think of Daenerys? And are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
that's a bummer.
Yeah.
I did read another interview that was after she read the script, she wandered around New York City for 2 hours, just in a state.
Like John in this episode.
Oh. Yeah. It sucks. There was also just she was on a carpet somewhere, talking to an interviewer, and they were asking her, how do you feel about your final scene? And she just pretended to barf. And I was like, I guess you're out of your contract now, so it doesn't matter what you say.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially after the article that she wrote about her struggles, like during the show and the surgeries, and yeah, it kind of sucks for her. I mean, it doesn't, because this show has been great to her, but
Sure.
I think she was heavily invested in this character for years, and like I said, she wrote something really sweet, thanking all the fans and everything, earlier today.
Yeah, she can wipe away the tears from her eyes on those $100 bills just casually lying around the house.
That's right, and then smoke them.
Yeah, but I do feel for her, because I think we don't know if her career will do anything after this. She'll forever be associated with this iconic character, and yeah, it must hurt. As an intelligent woman, it must hurt.
I think
was in
she
Star
looks.
Wars. Yeah.
I think she looks unique enough in this role that she could do another role and people wouldn't see her the same way. Do you know what I mean?
Well, she was in Solo, wasn't she?
Yeah. She was in Solo, and I never really thought, "Hey, that's Daenerys Targaryen." I mean, I knew it, but I didn't.
She was good in that.
I loved her in Solo.
And she played like Sarah Connor, right? I mean,
Did anyone see that movie?
Not as good in that.
I don't even know. I don't think I saw the movie, but I'm just saying, like, I don't like. She looks so unique in this role that I don't think you'll like think of her when she's in another role as Dany.
Thanks everyone for joining me for our final DragonCast ever. The dragon is dead. Long live the dragon.
We remember.
You're never gonna get a full sentence thing.
It turns out that the true dragon was inside us all the time. Yeah. All right. Lots of stuff coming up. The friends we made along the way. Blah blah blah. Something.
But we're
See
not
you guys
going
next
anywhere.
time.
We're literally not. We're gonna just keep doing stuff.
Yes.
We will do a third reread if George does not come out with another fucking book.
But we got that sweet, Marvel content, and there's that book content. If you like to read, I don't know, maybe you like to read if you're listening to
Star Wars every now and again.
Star Wars, # Star Wars. And whoever else is here, just announce yourselves.
Brett.
Paul.
It wasn't me this time.
No, it wasn't me.
No, I did remember Paul.
Oh, you did? I didn't
yeah.
remember that you remembered Paul.
Forgot Brett, man.
See, Michal forgets even when someone else doesn't.
Whatever, it's over. I love you guys, and I don't think I'm ever going to watch this show again. I think I hate it.
All right, well, let's just do this in big chunks, because there were a couple of really big chunks until we get to the whole weird
Say chunk one more time.
failed democracy thing. Chunk.
Ew.
Moist. All right, can we continue?
Oh, God. What just happened?
Sorry.
Greg, are you eating?
Greg.
Oh, my God. He's munching, isn't
I'm
he?
chewing gum. I'm not eating. I'm chewing gum. I'm sorry.
Did you bring it up for the whole
It
class?
is the most annoying
All right,
thing
all right, all
to
right.
do.
Fuck you all.
Patient
Goodbye.
control
Goodbye.
your
Bye.
boyfriend.
Bye.
Sounds like we talked ourselves out.
I'm sad.
I'm sorry,
What will
Michal.
we do next?